What's going on, everybody? This is K Asante back again with another Fire TV Stick video. This one's a little different. This will be a little interesting because I did show you the video on how to get the best of the Xbox experience on cloud gaming. We showed you how to install it. We showed you what the configuration looked like. And now we're going to show you another application in this realm that may do some things that the original one didn't do. So I know at the end of that last video, the thesis was, hey, this might not be necessarily for everyone. And I still kind of feel that way. But with this video, I'm kind of showing you guys that there are ways of making this experience a bit better. And I found an app called Better-xCloud. And I'm going to show it to you right now. And then we're going to show you how to install it. As y'all know, I'm a bit of a tinkerer, so this will require a little bit of tinkering, but in the long run, it is actually pretty easy to do, and I have a feeling it will go a long way to help your experience. So, as you see on your screen right now, it looks almost identical to the original app. It doesn't really look like it's too much of a difference, but it's actually a completely different application that was actually created by a third-party app developer, right? And this, the best of all, it's free 99 as they say. And what does that do? It gives you way more options than you would normally be used to. So we're going to check out some of the options. You see everything looks normal. You scroll through it just like you would the normal cloud gaming app. But next to my icon there's a different icon, which gives me the location of actually where I'm being streaming from. This one is US South. But click on that icon, and as you can see, now we're looking at a really, really deep menu. Now, forgive me if you can't see this fully because my screen is a little bright, but take my word for it, you'll be able to make a lot of configuration changes, including, as you're seeing on your screen now, the quality of the bitrate. You can set it to various levels of bitrate if you think your network can handle it. You can force it to target the resolution of 1080p, right? You can choose to go and do specific controls if you want, volume controls and the like, things that the normal application for cloud gaming just wouldn't give you access to, right? Usually it's easy, right? You set it, you forget it, but then you just kind of get what you get and that's it. With this app, you can actually go in, decide if you want the splash screen every time you load it up, or you don't want the splash screen every time you load it up. Right? You can decide many aspects of it. You can choose the UI for smart TVs versus the regular UI, and all that works. On the screen right now, you can even choose the preference of the language that you want if you're in a different location than an English-speaking country. So it is super interesting to give you a lot of the features that might help you along. And what's really interesting for me is this will help you navigate your network to see if you want higher bit rate, lower bit rate, find that sweet spot for you that would potentially get you far better network experience. You can enable local play and co-op play if you want. So that'd be connecting two Bluetooth controllers and having access to two users at once, things like that. There's a lot of features and functionality in here, right? And you could just go through them one by one and kind of have a base understanding of what it is you're trying to do. You go in, you hit the button, and then you decide what you want to do with it, and then you move on to the next one. And when you're completely done, you hit that, reload, and it saves your configuration, and then you can get started and test the game out. Okay, we have our controllers connected, we have our configurations done, and we want to play a game. So let's scroll through and find a game to play. As you can see, there are lots of choices, and of course, we've already decided that we're not going to play every kind of game on here, because some work better than others. But hey, let's test out Dungeons of Hinterberg, new game. Let's give it a shot. So of course, when you turn this thing on for the first time, it'll connect just like it would a standard game, right? Just like you're connecting to the standard Xbox Cloud gaming app. But of course, this is connecting through quote unquote, Better-xCloud, the app, which is an APK. So when you connect up, obviously you see the differences right away, right? Now these are configurations that I have set. So at the top, you see the ping, you'll see the FPS it's running at, you'll see a bunch of details that I will leave you to figure out what those configurations are, which you can literally go into the settings and choose whichever one you're doing. So the BTR would be the amount of bitrate that's being streamed to you at the same time. You know, the data load that's coming up is the DT, the PL and the FL. Those are packet loss and frame loss. As you can see already, I've lost 21 frames. So it could be my network. Actually, it might be my network because I moved my Fire Stick from an upstairs bedroom to the kids' playroom here in order to do this test. And I use a mesh network, so it may be still connected to the router upstairs, and as such, it's losing some of the bit rate. I may want to check into that, but needless to say, as you can see, it's pretty smooth even right now. So I'm gonna let this ride out for just a minute. Maybe I'll speed up a bit of the footage, and then we'll try some other games. Here we go. Now let me stop for a moment because I want to show you some of the in-game settings you can change. You can enable the performance indicators in-game or turn them off, but you can go back in there and make some other configuration changes. As you can see, you can change the render, and by changing the render, it also allows you to change the type of clarity boost. You can even use AMD's Fidelity FX if you want, because the standard default one doesn't offer Fidelity FX, but the WebGL version that they have there does. You can change saturation levels, contrast levels, brightness levels, right? You can go into the other settings and change controller layout information. You can even add shortcuts if you wanted to, right? If you wanted to, you can hit the Xbox button and something else, and it would do that, right? And then of course there's the performance indicator, which also gives you access to deciding what comes up on the screen when you choose to hit those buttons, right? There are lots of different configuration options, even in game, that you can make use of. Now, of course, unfortunately, my screen is too bright, so if I make too much of a detailed configuration change, you won't see it as well as you should. But yeah, there are some settings that you can literally flip, and you will literally see the renders change on the screen, and you can decide which one you prefer. That'd be the default render versus the WebGL2 render, and the Fidelity FX that comes with it. Now, as you're seeing right now, this shows you all the actual backend configs that you want to see. This is running at 1080p high. It's showing you the various download and upload speed. It's showing you what server that I'm connected to, even showing you the bit rate of the audio that I'm playing with. So it's super interesting. It gives you so many configuration options. Okay, so before we try Flintlock, which is the next game I want to try, since I told you I suspect that my Fire Stick is connected to my upstairs router, I'm going to drop the bitrate a little bit on this, drop the configuration, drop the network config, the visual options, just to see if that'll give me a little bit of an edge, because as you can imagine, this game is a little bit heavier on the resource usage than the other. So I can go in here and I can change it from high to normal and see if that gives me a little bit of an overhead, a little bit of breathing room. I haven't actually ever tried low before, but I might try that as well at some point. But yeah, so once again, we go in here, we can choose to enable the rocket animation or choose to not, right? Leave it exactly the same way it is. When you're done and you feel good and confident about it, you hit the reload red reload, and it loads it with those configuration changes, and you're ready to go. So here we are. We're going to let Flintlock load, and then we're going to give it a shot. I'll let some video footage of this thing ride, and then we'll talk some more. Now you'll notice on the screen at the top with the performance indicator, this game is locked at 30 frames. This is one of those situations where you're just beholden to a console. I suspect this game plays at 30 frames on the console. So even though you potentially should be able to push more out of it, right? Because it is in the cloud, it's still technically just a console in the cloud. So if it's locked at 60 frames, then it'll be locked at 60 frames here. This seemingly is locked at 30 frames. Now, here comes the fun part. How do we install all this? It's actually quite simple. You go under My Settings, so under your profile, and then there you find My Fire TV at the bottom. Within there, you look under About, and you keep hitting Enter 7 times. When you do, as you see on my screen, it says there's no need to do that because I already did it. But when you do, it'll offer up a developer mode. Then you go back to the main menu, go under Search, and then go to the App Store. When you get to the App Store, it's a very simple process of going to Search, going into Search as if you're searching something, and then typing or saying Downloader. You can see it on my screen right now, just the word Downloader. Yeah, you find the Downloader app, you hit Install, it will install. Now, you should know when you first do this, Downloader may not install because you've enabled it in developer mode, but you haven't turned it on. So you go into Downloader, you go back to the settings and back to My Fire TV, go under developer mode, go under Install Unknown Apps, and then enable Downloader in that section. So now you go back to Downloader, and it's easy to find because anything you download will be in that little icon there. You scroll all the way through and you'll find it at the bottom. Now you got Downloader open. You head to the browser and you type in this link. I'll actually put the actual link in the description below. But basically, you can go in here. You have the choice of hitting that QR code and then using your mouse, your phone rather. But you can actually just type it out as well. What you're trying to type out is https:// better-xCloud.github.io. You could put the /Android after that as well to make your life easier, or you could just go to the main URL and look it up that way. Now you're on the page, you scroll to the bottom, and you click download on GitHub. Right at the top, you'll see latest. You click on that and then scroll to the very bottom. And what you're looking for is the file name with the word APK. Now, if you did all this right, you should already have developer access. So it'll just let you install and open up Better-xCloud. And there you go. The first time you open it up, it will ask you for your Windows credentials. It'll open up just like you're used to with any other Windows device, any other Microsoft device. But once you authenticate, you can say that it shouldn't remind you anymore. Now, of course, I am a glutton for punishment because I've already told you that high performance games may not work best on the cloud, but I'm a glutton for punishment. So here we go. Let's try some Halo. I will tell you it's running at 60 frames per second. And you can actually see that the quality is much better. Besides that, I had this weird issue though. The Halo Infinite that's running on the Microsoft servers was having a hard time connected to Microsoft servers. Go figure. But ultimately I was able to log in and traverse that divide. So the interesting thing there is this is seemingly running on a Series X because not only is it running 60 frames, but I was able to go into the settings and enable ray tracing. Sun God rays are ray traced in this game. Now, of course, I don't play as much Halo Infinite as I used to, so when I first loaded in, it was basically loading me into the last place I played, which was the multiplayer. I do like this campaign, although I recognize I'm not at the popular opinion. What you're looking at right now is heroic footage. That's why I'm getting my ass handed to me. Needless to say, before we get out of here, let's try one more game. No Man's Sky. It's been a minute since I played it. I hear there's a bunch of really cool updates, so I figured why not? This will be a nice capper off to our little video here we put together. I was trying to make this one a short one, but it seems to be getting long. But yes, as you can see, you boot it up. It shows you your performance indicators, a configuration that I set forth. You can actually set it up so that it doesn't boot up with all that. But I obviously, for this video and in general, I like to know those details. So that's it. No Man's Sky. Fire Stick using Better-xCloud. Again, that link for Better-xCloud is below in the description right beneath that like button. If you like the stuff I'm doing here now, give me some feedback. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Hit that like button, hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave me feedback in the comment section and let me know what you think of this content. Just dipping my toes in the water, as it were, giving it a try, seeing if it's something that I will like, and see if it's something that the audience will connect with. I think the next videos that I'll be making will most likely be featuring the 1X Player X1 Mini, which I'm super excited about, which is out for delivery as I speak. It'll be here in a couple days. So I'm excited to put that through its paces and let folks know what I think about it. But otherwise, I think that's it. It's been a great time showing you guys all the ins and outs of it. I hope you guys had some benefit with this video. I hope somebody comes to this video at some point and says, hey, I want to install this thing, and finds this video useful. If you do, once again, go ahead and hit that like button. Again, this has been Kay Asante, host of the Gaming Circle podcast and the Gamers Playground. Peace.